So you're a beginner rider but don't know what gear to get as a first time rider? Well, we're going to be at Infinity Camberley today to go over some options. To help us along the way, we've got the guys from Infinity Camberley to go over certain aspects of the gear that you're going to need. Starting off with Ryan.
When it comes to your first set of motorcycle boots, there's a few things you should know. The most important is what length you should go for. Now, most people might want to start with something that looks casual, flashy, fashionable, something like one of these. Now, whilst I do have a place in your wardrobe, they might not be the best for your first pair. Instead, I would recommend going for a full-length boot, something that prioritises safety over fashion. Something like the Web Gore-Texes. The Web Gore-Tex are a really good choice. They come ride recommended and they're a full-length boot, meaning they offer protection to all the vital areas of your feet. Now, the main thing to look for when you're buying a pair of boots, apart from fashion obviously, is the 4 numbers on the inside. Now, each of those 4 numbers is a different test they do on the boot. I'm not going to try and remember what each of them is, but I'm sure they'll put them somewhere now. 2 is the high level, 1 is the slightly lower level. Both are perfectly fine, but 2 is obviously preferable if you can find a boot like these Web Gore-Texes that has all 4 2s. On top of that, Web Gore-Tex obviously uses Gore membrane, so it's super waterproof, super nice, will last you a long time and do you through a whole year. I'm now going to pass it on to Tom number 1, who's going to do jackets and trousers with you.
You might already know who I am. I am Tom 1, as referred to Ryan earlier, but I'm going to go over the jackets and trousers for beginner riders. The first thing you want to look out for is the actual rating. So the new ratings that we have, you have A, AA and AAA. They're going to be the slide ratings of said jacket. So the longer the slide, the higher the letter, if that makes sense. So AAA would be the highest standard, normally reserved for your leathers, but you have in recent years new developments like from Knox with the Shield hoodie, which is also AAA rated. Would I suggest this as a first time rider's sort of garment to go for? Probably not. We'll go over to the places where we can actually go over some. Personally, for me, if I was going to start all over again as a new rider, I would get something a bit different to my Merlin Sherpa that I bought during the middle of winter. So instead, I'll go for something a bit more all-weather oriented. So that basically means something that has maybe a drop liner because it's a bit more affordable than your laminates. It will also be meaning that during the summer months, you can take the liner out and rock it as a more breathable jacket. And when it comes back to winter again, you can knock it back in there again. Also, the armor is another key thing to look out for. You want them in the shoulder and elbows, at least at a level 1, and you want it to be fitting quite nicely on your arms and your body. Now, with this, you can get this as a set when it comes to these sort of drop liners and wherever else. You can see behind here, you've got the Vice Core Plus trousers on the back there that pairs up really nicely to this really affordable Vice Core Adventure jacket. Now, with that being said, now you're ready and set, let's move on to the gloves where other Tom is going to be explaining everything.
When choosing a set of gloves to use on the bike, it's always a bit daunting, so here are a few little things you can do when looking. I'd always recommend for a set of leather gloves, if you can find one with a palm slider and knuckle protection, it's always going to be more beneficial for you. You don't have to, but it's always going to be worth it. The fit, it should feel comfortable, it should feel like you're not wearing a glove. And it sounds silly, but something like this, the Orsa 3s, they just fit well. And when something fits well, you'll ride better because you're not worried about it. For something more mid-season, I'd say go for something like this. It will always rain in the UK, but it can also be quite sunny on those days too. Something like this, basically a summer glove, just completely waterproof. Same thing, you've still got the palm slider and still have knuckle protection too. Moving on, deepest, darkest depths of winter, your hands are going to be cold, so short of getting heated grips or heated gloves, you can go for something like this. Generally a shorter cuff, I prefer, but you can get longer ones like this. They'll come up a bit taller, and what you typically will do is put your jacket over the cuff, so over the long bit itself, tuck it all up so it stops the wind chill. Some people like it, some people don't. I tend to prefer a short cuff because then I'm not faffing as much. I can get on and keep my hands warm as well. So thermal liner inside, Gore-Tex, it will keep the rain out, and your hands will stay warm as long as you put your warm hands in the gloves. Over to Luca for the helmets.
Hi, my name is Luca from the Camberley branch, and today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about helmets and your starting helmet, more importantly. Now these ones here aren't helmets clearly, but they do a great job at covering up your helmet hair when it gets a little bit messy. So let's walk over to the helmets. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about it. I want to talk mainly about how to check if a helmet fits you well, and of course why you want a helmet to fit perfectly. So just as an example, I'm going to grab a I-71 from HAC, which is a great starting helmet. And I'm just going to put it on and show you how you can size yourself up for a helmet. So mainly to put a helmet on, just open it like this. You roll it from the top of your head. Once it's on, to check your size, what you want to do is kind of grab the helmet from the chin bar, pull it all the way down. It shouldn't go above, past your eyebrows. Then another thing you can do is put one hand at the back of the helmet, push forward and slide your finger. You shouldn't get more than half of your finger in. So this one is clearly a very good fit for me. So it's tight, because the helmet is supposed to be tight in the cheeks, but it's not giving me any pressure around the head or anything like that, which means that I won't get a headache while riding with this. Now the I-71, it's a good starting lid, mainly because of the balance between the quality and the price. It's a very good quality helmet. You're looking at an internal sun visor in it. You're looking at polycarbonate shell, which is a very common on a lot of HAC helmets. But yeah, the main comparison is something like an I-71, or if you want to go for something more basic that will still do the job, something like a C10, which is basically your shell. You get no internal sun visor, just a good amount of ventilation, and the shell with the visor. For the safety rating, this helmet here is ECE 2206 approved. All of the helmets in store are ECE approved. I personally wear a full face helmet because in my opinion it's the safest one to wear, but I've got a full range, a very big range in store of different helmets that you can try on. And if you're not too sure about how to size the helmet yourself, feel free to ask us in store. On top of that, if you have any more questions, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe and ride safe.